everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Man's Retro Review. This is the video series where I review Coliseum home videos for your viewing pleasure. Of course, this series is to help you decide if you want to pick up certain Coliseum videos or not. If you're a collector like I am, you try to get a lot of them. Or if you're just a casual fan, you just pick whichever ones you feel is the best. Now, for this one, we actually had a tie as far as the voting goes. So in the event of a tie, I break the tiebreak. Usually I let all you guys vote for the video that I review. But since it ended in a tie, I get to pick the review. And the video that I will be reviewing today is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Now, this is one that's been on the list for quite some time now, and I'm actually sort of glad that I'm reviewing this video. So let's get into it. The video is hosted by Gorilla Monsoon, and we get a brief introduction about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And then we go to our opening match. Ricky Steamboat challenging Greg the Hammer Valentine for the Intercontinental title. Now, one of the things that I have to admit that I liked about this particular tape is, unlike other tapes where, say, most of the matches are in Madison Square Garden, or most of them are in the Boston Garden, or this or that, there's only one match, this first match, for Madison Square Garden. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. So, this is a good match. This is a good match. Excuse me. The commentary is done really good. Gorilla Monsoon, Mean Gene Okerlund. And then you got Jimmy Hart there, you know, as well. And it's a really good match. I mean, Steamboat has the advantage for a bit with his karate. Valentine, you know, has advantage for a little bit. And in the end of the match, now I got to explain the end of this match to you, because the commentary is just absolutely funny. So, Steamboat's making these moves, these offensive moves. He kicks Valentine in the back of the head that sends Valentine through the ropes onto the floor. So the referee's counting. And, you know, Okerlund and Monsoon are like, is Jimmy Hart allowed to do that? Is he allowed to touch his, you know, his guy? And then Monsoon's like, no, he's only there to, you know, be there and such. So the 10 count happens. So after the bell rings, they fight a little bit, and then Steamboat's left in the ring. So Mean Gene's like, oh, well or Gorilla's like, oh, this has got to be a disqualification. So Howard Finkel goes, and the winner of the match, as a result of a countout, Ricky Steamboat. And then Gene Okerlund's like, what? I got to see this again. It's absolutely terrible. You are watching this match. You should be paying attention. You know, it's like some people that I know before Jerry Lawler had his heart attack back in September. You know, I sort of question if Gene and Gorilla are watching their own product here, but they show the replay again of Steamboat kicking Valentine out of the ring, count out, and that's it. So now we go to the body shop. Ricky Steamboat's the guest, obviously, because the videotape's about Ricky Steamboat. So Ventura mentions how Steamboat is using, you know, hands to the throat, and he's saying that it's illegal. And Steamboat's like, oh, well, you know, I checked into the Federation, and I checked into the Federation rule books, and it says that it's perfectly fine. And, you know, they have this back and forth argument. It's really funny. And then we go to one of, and I hated this segment when I watched this tape for the first time years ago. I still think it's absolutely cheesy. Ricky Steamboat's martial arts training and the test, and it's on the tape here. It's called The 3 Moments of Truth. So, okay, imagine sort of like a documentary of somebody, going through this test. So Mean Gene is there, and he calls Steamboat, okay, Rick the Dragon Steamboat. Oh my God. Mean Gene doesn't watch his product. Boy, he got away with a lot on the 900 line. Anyway, so Steamboat talks about the first test, which is on the Bridge of Serenity. Okay, go ahead, put your Seinfeld jokes in now. So anyway, so he talks about, how he took the test on the Bridge of Serenity. And this is some of the worst fighting I've ever seen. It is absolutely terrible. It is so choreographed. It's just terrible. I mean, Quentin Tarantino fights in movies look more real than this. That's how bad it was. So Steamboat beats up two ninjas. So then we go to the Garden of Tranquility. Oh, I wish I was making this up. But I'm not. Now, this one is not nearly as cheesy as the first test was. And to be honest, of the three, this actually is the closest to a fight that you would see of the tests. And obviously, Steamboat passes. And then we go to the final test, where Steamboat talks about how he took his final test in front of the monks to prove himself. And I swear, when the guy's talking in this, because it's translated, I swear the guy is saying, "I pissed off." I mean, honestly, you got the subtitles, but I swear I thought he said, "I pissed off." So we get even more bad Bruce Lee-like kung fu fighting. Steamboat beats them all up. And then what does Steamboat get after passing all three tests? He gets his gear. He gets his gi, his belt, Really? That's all he gets for going through the Bridge of Serenity, the test, or the Garden of Tranquility, and fighting again, in front of the monks. Oh my God, it's terrible. Now, I do want to mention about the gi, because this goes into the next match. Ricky Steamboat against Brutus Beefcake. Now, this is a very interesting match, because this match is no disqualifications, no countouts. Now, my best guess is the only reason that this is a no DQ, no countout match is that Steamboat is standing up for Hillbilly Jim, because Brutus Beefcake broke Hillbilly Jim's leg, so maybe that's why he's doing that. So, Beefcake right away goes after Steamboat. He just goes right after him. And then during the first couple of minutes, and again, this is just, the commentators, they know their product. They don't know what to call the Steamboat's code. And it's like, oh, he's beating him with the karate code. He's beating him up. He's got it over him. And then, literally 3 minutes later, it's like, oh, somebody just told us it's a gi. It's called a gi. Oh, my Lord. But despite, again, bad commentary, and it's so bad, it's hilarious. You have to watch this. This is a great match. This really is. The end of the match is great. Steamboat goes up for the crossbody block from the top rope, hits it on Beefcake. 1, 2, just got the shoulder up, but the house lights go up, thinking that, Steamboat had won the match. Well, they turn the lights back down. So Beefcake and Steamboat go back into the corner. Referee's trying to get involved. Johnny Valiant's on the outside. He grabs Steamboat's leg. Beefcake punches Steamboat. He goes down. 1, 2, 3. Beefcake wins, and then the house lights go up again, but the referee catches Valiant holding down Steamboat's leg, so the match continues, And then Steamboat gets beefcake with a schoolboy 1-2-3. Ricky Steamboat wins in a great match. I mean, this was just a great match. So now we go into the saga of Ricky Steamboat and the Magnificent Morocco. Very well done. This is pretty much most of the videotape. And it starts off with a segment from TNT where Mr. Fuji and the Magnificent Morocco are there talking about the infamous hanging match where Morocco and Fuji hung Ricky Steamboat over the top rope with this belt. Now, obviously, you can never get away with that today in today's WWE programming because, number one, it's PG, and then, number two, Linda's running... Never mind, I'm not even going to go into that. But anyway, so they show the incident, and Morocco and Fuji, you know, they have their say about it. So then we go to a match, Mr. Fuji against Ricky Steamboat. And I gotta admit, Mr. Fuji looks good in this match. I mean, there probably aren't that many Mr. Fuji matches, and you know, where he looks good, but he looks good in this match. Now, one constant theme throughout this tape is Steamboat does, you know, the crossbody block from the top rope, which was one of his finishers. He never wins any of his matches with that move. Just wanted to point that out. So, Steamboat gets the win with another schoolboy. And what's funny about this is after the match, here's this little girl, this little blonde girl, about 3 or 4 years old. She runs out, she's at ringside, she's trying to hug Steamboat. Like, she's like... And then, you know, she goes running back. I don't know if it's because security caught the 3-year-old girl or what, but after the match, Morocco comes from behind, breaks a chair over the back of Steamboat, gets a little bit of attack on him. Then we go to Steamboat and Morocco. This is known as the Dragon's Revenge. This, to be honest, is the best match on the entire videotape. It really is. It's a very good match, back and forth, told a very good story, and it even had the referee getting involved. Now, one thing I want to point out, or actually, you know what, I want to go back real quick to the Fuji Steamboat match. There's one fan in the front row, and I'm sure a lot of you are football fans that are watching this. The State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers and the guys going, "They stop double check!" Yeah! I swear that's him. I swear that's him. But anyway, back to the match. Really good match. Referee gets involved. And I love this. Like, here, this is where the commentary is good. Because Monsoon and Lord Alfred Hayes, they're like, why is he doing this? Why is he getting involved? He shouldn't be. You know. And what's great about this match is when you have a match that ends up getting nicknamed the Dragon's Revenge, you don't necessarily need blood for this. And this is a great example of the blood is not necessary. And it really isn't. The end of the match, Fuji's on the apron. Steamboat sees him. He grabs the cane, but the referee takes it away from Steamboat. Meanwhile, Fuji throws in a pair of brass knucks into Morocco's hand. And then eventually, Steamboat gets hit with those knucks. Morocco falls on top of him. 1, 2, 3. Magnificent Morocco wins in a very good match. And then we go into Piper's Pit. And again, this is another good segment where, you know, first off, Steamboat calls Piper Rodney. And Piper's like, "Oh, no, my name's not Rodney, it's Roderick." And then he goes, "Roderick means conqueror." So he's like, "Okay, conqueror. No, my name is Roderick." And he's like, "What are you? Are you Rodney? Are you Roderick? Are you conqueror?" It's really good. It was a really good segment for there. And then the last two matches on this tape are from the Wrestling Classic event. First, we have a match against Davey Boy Smith. Now, for the short time that they're given, and it's about 2.5 to 3 minutes, this is actually a pretty decent match. The ending, of course, if this happened today, would be, talked about all over the internet, going like, oh, that is such a BS ending, it's absolutely terrible, but I'll get to that point in a minute. But this is a good scientific match, and Ventura's like, oh, one of these guys, they're going to grab him by the hair, and they're going to, do something to cheat. So the end of the match comes. Steamboat does the standing suplex, the long one that Davey Boy is used to doing. He hits that. Then he goes for a splash. Davey Boy gets his knees up. Then Davey Boy does a drop kick. Hits Steamboat. Steamboat goes to the ropes. Davey Boy tries it again. Steamboat moves out of the way. Davey Boy crotches himself between the top and the middle rope. The referee stops the match, calls for the bell, awards the bout to Ricky Steamboat because Davey Boy could not continue. I'm serious. That's how the match ended. Like I said, if this happened today, there would be people going on message boards, on YouTube, on Twitter going, oh my God, that is a terrible ending. What the hell are they thinking? This is absolutely bullcrap, Trust me, I know, I could tell, in my opinion, how the fans would react. I'm not saying all fans would react like that, but... And then we go to the final match. Ricky Steamboat against Randy. Now, I gotta say this right, because Gorilla Monsoon is hosting this. Randy, the not-so-macho man Savage. Oh, man, those were the days. So anyway, we get, again, another good match out of Ricky Steamboat in this tournament. Of course, this is nowhere near the caliber of the match that they would have at WrestleMania 3, but this is a good match. And it goes back and forth. In the end of the match, Savage is on the apron on the outside. He goes into his tights. He pulls a pair of, knuckles out. Steamboat ducks the punch that Savage, attempts to do. He's going for a back suplex. Savage hits Steamboat right on the head with the brass knucks. 1, 2, 3. Savage goes over. Ricky Steamboat is eliminated from the tournament. Now, does that ending sound familiar to you? Well, it should, because exactly 3 months later, Randy Savage would use that same finish on Tito Santana in 1986 to become the Intercontinental Champion. The exact same ending. So, what did I think about this videotape? Well, besides the very cheesy martial arts segment and the somewhat bad commentary in the first 2 matches, this is a very good tape. Now, of course, the 3-disc set that came out a year or 2 ago, probably puts this tape out of, as far as current context out. But this is still a very good tape, and I recommend, if you are a fan of Ricky Steamboat, to get this videotape to see all these matches. There's really not one bad match on this tape, and that's very rare to say when you have a videotape that's dedicated to one individual. Plus, you got to listen to the back commentary. Alright, so now that we're done with Series 6, it's time to give out some medals. Gold, silver, and bronze. Now, this is between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, WWF Grudge matches, and Best of the WWF Volume 6. The bronze medal easily goes to WWF Grudge matches. Silver medal is a very close call. This one could go either way. But I'm gonna have to give it to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The gold medal goes to Best of the WWF Volume 6. Although I could go either way. It's just, however I feel at the moment. Now, before I end this videotape, I do have an announcement to make, and I think you guys are going to like this. In the past, when I've done, review or voting, some of you guys have been asking for certain tapes for me to review. Now, I will say, obviously, I'm not going to review WrestleManias or SummerSlams or Royal Rumbles or Survivor Series, because I really, it could be reviewed by anybody and everybody. And you guys really don't want me to review those events. However, over the next 2 months, I will be reviewing 4 very special tapes to sort of wrap up this year of the Retro Review. Those 4 tapes: the Wrestling Classic, WWF's Greatest Matches, the Hulkster, and I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about this one, Highlights from WrestleMania. Yes, I know, in the title, Highlights from WrestleMania, but I gotta do it. And the next time that you watch the Retro Review, I will be reviewing the Wrestling Classic. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Retro Review, and until next time, you all stay safe. Goodbye, everybody.